Hello everyone, this is Ian from Action Language at Action Foundation. As you can see, I'm outside and today I'm joined by one of our volunteer teachers, Mike, and a very special guest.
Hello, I'm Michael and I brought my dog with me. His name is Hunter. He will show himself in a minute. Come on, Hunter, you going to say hello? Can we see him? No, we can't quite see him yet.
He's seen something more interesting,
He's looking at another dog.
Yeah.
My dog is called Hunter. He's a spaniel and he's 2 years old.
So that's very young, yeah?
Yes. But he is fully grown. He won't get any bigger.
Okay, that's important. Some dogs, they just seem to keep on growing. So, have you had dogs before?
I've never had a dog before. I've always wanted a dog, but I worked too hard, and it's difficult to look after a dog if you go to work every day. Now I have time to look after a dog.
So, in England and in the whole of the UK, we talk about dogs being man's best friend. Do you think that's true?
No, I think men and women are men and women's best friends, but dogs are second best friends. They're very loving and they always happy to see you.
But in some other countries and some other cultures, dogs are not quite the same. Maybe people have guard dogs and that's about it. So what advice do you have for people who come to the UK and they come somewhere like this beautiful park we're in today, and a dog comes rushing up to them?
The best thing to do is not to hit the dog or wave your arms at him or anything like that. Just carry on walking. Don't look at it, just let it have a look at you, and if it sees you don't want to play, it will probably run on. But you must remember, dogs in parks are with their owners, and their owners are looking after the dogs and looking after you and making sure their dog won't hurt you or your children.
Okay, and what about, if some of our students, they might have children who are afraid of dogs?
Well, if you are more comfortable and you see a dog coming and you want to lift your child up out of the way, maybe that's better. Most dogs like children, but not all dogs do. I teach my granddaughters that if they do not know a dog, then to be very careful. Only if the owner says, my dog loves children, then you can relax a bit. But just be careful. The dog will not hurt you or bite you, but he might just be a little bit bouncy, and that's sometimes frightening for children.
So it's important to get an owner's permission to pet a dog.
Yes, and of course some dogs are very nervous and don't like being touched. My dog likes being stroked as much as possible, but he's unusual.
So what should we do if we see a dog that we think is being aggressive?
Well, I think it's a good idea to see if there's an owner. And if there's an owner, maybe you should talk to the owner and say, please control your dog, because it is the owner's job to control their dog. If there is no owner, I think the best thing to do is to keep out of the way and maybe move away from the dog. Do not wave at him, do not shake a stick at the dog, just ignore it.
Yeah, important advice. And, there are places, even outside, where you can go in the summer where there shouldn't be any dogs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So there are some beaches
Yes.
where I think it's May till October, there are no dogs. So if you want to avoid
Yes.
dog areas, maybe those are the places to go.
Yes. If there are dogs, if dogs are not allowed, then the English people respect that, and you will not see dogs there. It will be safe. So many of the beaches in Northumberland are dog-free.
And on the other side, there are a lot of places which we call now dog-friendly.
Mm-hmm.
This could be shops, cafes, restaurants. Oh, there's Hunter going to meet a new friend.
Hunter, come here. Come here.
Oh, not
Good
quite
boy.
yet. Good boy.
Good boy. Oh.
So do you and Hunter go to these dog-friendly places?
We go to many dog-friendly places. and we there are some pubs you can go to and you can take a dog to them. Some parks are very dog friendly. We do not take him to restaurants. In France, you can take a dog into a restaurant and everybody's happy. That does not happen in England. And of course, we don't take the dog into shops or cafes. Maybe some people do, but we don't. The only exception to that, and of course there are some people in England who have very poor sight. So they are walking with a dog, the dog is helping them find their way. They are called guide dogs, and they do go into shops and restaurants, and they are working dogs. If you see one of those, it's important not to pat them.
Yeah, and there are dogs for people with hearing impairments as well, and dogs for people who have other disabilities who perhaps just need a bit of help when they leave the house. So, what should we do if we see a dog that we think is lost? Or, a dog that's maybe been shut in a hot car?
I think let's take those one by one. If a dog is lost and you feel it has a collar, you feel it is somebody's dog but lost, because there are very few wild dogs in England, so that would usually it. You can take it to the police, or you can take it to the vet, the veterinary surgeon, the animal's doctor. Most dogs these days have a computer microchip in their necks, and with that, the police or the vet can find their number and can contact the owner. Or you can maybe telephone the police, not the urgent number, the non-urgent number, and say you have seen a dog and tell them where you saw it, a stray dog, and they will deal with it. There are also teams that work for the local authority, for the city, that come and take dogs away and look after them until their owners can find them again.
Yeah, and sometimes if you're lucky, you might just see these people walking around somewhere like this in Jesmond Dean or on the town moor, because they find a lot of dogs there.
They're called dog wardens.
And what about the dogs in hot cars?
Well, yes, it's very dangerous for people to leave a dog in a hot car. Often in supermarkets or outside shops, you see a dog. If you are seriously worried, maybe go into the supermarket and tell a member of staff, and they will send a tannoy message out so the owner can go and rescue their dog. Otherwise, you have to do your best. Sometimes you might just hope the owner comes back and leave it. It's not always your problem that you have to deal with, but if you can, it's a good idea.
Yeah, because even in a country like ours, which we don't think is very hot, behind a piece of glass, it can get very hot. All right, and then what about for people who like dogs? There are certain words we can say to dogs which sometimes makes them do certain things. Okay, so we're going to ask Mike some additional questions. So, Mike, we saw you feeding Hunter before. What kind of things can we give to dogs, and what kind of things should we never give to dogs?
Well, I think the main thing is dogs, it's better to feed them with dog food. There are some human food they can eat as a special treat, a little piece of cheese maybe. If Hunter needs to take medicine, I give him cheese with it. Toast, little bit of toast they can eat. Not all that much else. Sometimes if he is ill, I will give him a little bit of tuna fish, but mostly he has dog food and dog sweets, only dog sweets. Some things are very dangerous for dogs. Some of the common things are chocolate. You should not give a dog chocolate, it can make it very ill. And many fruit, including grapes, are very, very bad for dogs. So on the whole, I would say let the owners feed their dogs. One little word though, dogs love ice cream, and ice cream is not too bad for them. The danger is if your child has an ice cream, a little dog might come and try and steal it. So be careful.
Yeah, so that's a good one. If you've got a small child with an ice cream and it's kind of tilting down, maybe, try to keep that ice cream upright and make sure your kid's in the right place. Otherwise, you're going to have some tears if the dog steals the ice cream, even though for you it might be quite funny. Okay, some dogs can be very noisy. We call this barking. Sometimes they can make a noise in their throat, which is growling. Should we be scared of dogs who are barking and growling?
I find that you do not need to. On the whole, you do not need to. Some dogs are just like that. They just bark. They're mouthy, we say. And on the whole, they're just playing. They're just playing. If a dog is very angry or frightened and the hair is up on his neck and he's making dangerous growls, then maybe you do have to be careful. And I would say if I was with my grandchildren, I would pick them up. I would not let them go to us.
And if you see a dog that you think is really cute and you want to stroke it, what should you do?
I think you should ask the owner first if it's okay for you or your child to stroke the dog. Because some dogs don't like being stroked, and some dogs are very frightened of strangers. Some dogs are fine. If I see you with my dog and you ask if you can stroke him, I'll say yes, he would love that. But not every dog is like that.
And some dogs, for example, they might like their back stroked but not their ears, or the other way around, so it's always good to check.
With my dog, it's the stomach. He loves his stomach stroked.
Okay, so one thing that puts a lot of people off from buying a dog or being around dogs is the mess that dogs leave behind. You know, and this could be quite dangerous, but we do have rules in this country about what we should do with this.
We do. We have to pick up what the dog produces, and we always carry bags like this so we can pick it up carefully. You turn the bag inside out and put your hand so you do not touch it yourself, and tie it up. And then you put it in the bin. There is one over there. Wherever you go, you will find there are bins for the dog's mess. And if you are in the country, miles away in the wood or a forest, maybe you just under some leaves and leave it. If you're in a park, you must pick it up because it is very dangerous for children. And if you see some, do not touch it. Often, if you've picked up the dog's food, I carry with me some hand cleaner and I clean my hands if I picked up the dog's mess, because sometimes it can get. But just be careful. If you see a lot of dogs around, be careful of what you're treading in or the dogs, because not all owners are as careful as they should be.
Yeah. Even though people can be forced to pay money if the police or the dog warden catches them not picking up the dog mess.
And also, other dog owners will speak to you if they see that you've not picked up your dog's mess.
Yeah, and my mum's a dog owner, and she always has extra dog bags in case she meets someone who's forgotten.
Oh, that's often happened to me. Yes. Yes, you think, oh, I've forgotten the bags. You have to ask somebody for one.
Okay. Some dogs have bad reputations in this country. Oh, we can see some dogs playing over there. But you can see their tails are up, so they're just playing. Do you think it's true that some types of dog are more aggressive than others?
I think partly true. I mean, some dogs are very friendly, for example, on the other hand, like spaniels like Hunter are known to be very friendly and very sociable. There are some dogs that can be aggressive. Very often it is because they have not been well looked after or not been well treated. There is a good example, which is a dog called a Staffordshire Bull Terrier. They are very broad dogs. People are very frightened of them and they can be very aggressive. If they are well trained and well looked after, they are lovely family dogs. So not all dogs that have a bad reputation are bad dogs. There you are, the dogs are playing chase. It's Hunter's favourite game. And they are boxing now. They will not hurt each other. They will never hurt each other. They are playing. I see Hunter is good on two legs. Hunter will not play with little dogs. He only likes dogs his size or bigger.
Okay, so sometimes in a place like this, you might see a dog just walking around or running around, as we've seen Hunter do today. But sometimes they're on a rope,
Yes.
which has a special name. Mike, can you tell us a
Yes,
bit more?
we call it a lead. And we have to put the dog on the lead. No, it depends on the dog. Some people have their dogs on the lead all the time because they are frightened if the dog runs away, it will not come back. For me and for most dog owners, If it is safe in a park, and if there are no animals, no sheep, no horses, no cows, then I take him off the lead. If it's on the road, in the town, in the pavement, anywhere where there is cars, you put him on the lead. If I see a family with children or some people having a picnic, then I put him on the lead because he might go and steal the food from the picnickers. And if you're in the country, particularly if there are sheep, you must put your dog on the lead. If the dog is not on the lead and if he chases the sheep, you can be in very serious trouble.
Yeah, thank you for that, and that's an important point about if you're in the countryside. Often you will see a sign or a picture that either says no dogs or dogs must be kept on a lead. Sometimes it says leash instead. If you're a family having a picnic somewhere like this and there's a dog bothering you, do you think it's okay to ask the owner to put the dog on a lead?
Most certainly is. Sometimes people say that to me and I say, certainly, I'm sorry, I should have done it before. Because I'm the owner, it is my job to make sure not just that the dog is safe, but the children he meets are safe. That is my job.
If you see a dog that's on a lead or in a harness, does it mean that it's a dangerous or disobedient dog?
Not of itself, no. No, sometimes it can be that the dog is too young to come when he is called, or maybe is a dog that tends to run away. One of my neighbours has a dog which was rescued from, I think, Romania, and that dog runs away. He always has to be on the lead, but that is rare. Very often, if a dog is on the lead, it is because it's a very young dog who has not yet learnt to come when he is called.
Yeah. Or perhaps, if I think about my mum's dog, because she's quite old and she can't see and she can't hear, so it's much better for her to be on a lead and she doesn't start running and tiring herself out too much. But dogs on the lead, if you or your kids want to, pet them, usually it's, the same rules. Just ask the owner first.
Exactly. Ask the owner first, and if the owner says yes, that's fine.
Okay, thank you. So I hope those are some useful tips about dogs. Perhaps in the comments you can let us know about your experiences with dogs, positive ones mostly, and also if you have any advice for any other of our students. Thank you.